So let's talk about TikTok and Xiaohongshu. So unless you've been living under a rock for the last year, you'll be aware that the US passed legislation to basically ban TikTok. And after lots of Congress sessions, blah, 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 and court cases, it finally reached the highest court in America, and they technically banned TikTok. For a while, it was actually taken down in the US, but we'll come to that a bit later on in the video. Now, TikTok has about 170 million US users, but as far as I understand, it accounts for less than 10% of its founder and company ByteDance's revenue. So although it is an important market, it's not kind of a life or death situation. Anyway, in the run up to this ban of TikTok, many American users were kind of not happy about this, and as a way of protesting, they moved, or many of them signed up with an app called Xiaohongshu, which the English name for this is Little Red Book. Now, for those unfamiliar with Xiaohongshu, it's one of China's most beloved apps. It was founded in 2013. Xiaohongshu, which translates to Little Red Book, it's a lifestyle and social commerce platform. It's a space where users share personal experiences, travel tips, food recommendations, and much more. With over 300 million monthly users, it's often compared to Instagram, but with a stronger focus on community and discovery. Until recently, Xiaohongshu was primarily popular in China and among overseas Chinese communities. But this week, it actually became the most downloaded free app on Apple's US App Store. Downloads surged by about 200% compared to last year. And on Google, searches for Xiaohongshu increased by nearly 5,000% in a day. So why the sudden interest? Well, the US government's ban on TikTok has driven many American users, calling themselves TikTok refugees, to explore this Red Note app. And on the app, they're sharing videos, connecting with Chinese users, and even engaging in cultural exchanges. And it's really interesting because they've basically found out that for many, many years, their government has been lying to them about China and the Chinese people. So here are a few things that these Americans who've been interacting with Chinese on Xiaohongshu have found out. They found out that China has inexpensive groceries and restaurants, so food is a lot more affordable. They've also found out how basically they're paying hugely more for healthcare and medicines, how 90% of Chinese own their own homes, that college and university here in China is much, much cheaper, typically $1,000 to $2,000 US per year. And interestingly, China have about 50,000 places for American students to come and study degrees or master's degrees here. So if you're an American student and you don't want to be saddled with all the debt of going to college or university, apply to a Chinese university. Just search on the internet, find the Chinese university you want to go to and apply. Don't go through a middleman because they'll generally rip you off. They've also been discovering what amazing infrastructure China has, amazing metro systems, amazing high-speed railways. Also, that there's no social credit score. Actually, the social credit score was something that's basically been made up by the West to make China look bad. It doesn't actually exist here. They've also realised that China has clean, safe cities, amazing parks and green spaces, cheap cars, much cheaper than US cars, all electric, much more advanced technology, affordable rents and no property taxes, And it's a very, very safe society. There's no gun crime. There's very little crime at all, actually. And also that when you eat out in a restaurant here, there's no tipping. And this has been a massive revelation to a lot of these Americans who are finally realizing that their government has been lying to them. Now, very interesting, because for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been making content here in China, and I've been saying many of these things that the Americans are now finding out for themselves by talking to Chinese people on Little Red Book. And it's kind of amazing, because in those years I've been, I've had a lot of backlash from people in the West saying that I work for the Chinese government and I'm a shill. I was even featured by the Times of London and the BBC, saying that I was working and just promoting Chinese government narrative. And that's not the case. I do travel around China. Some of those trips are paid for, not all. A lot of them, like I did a road trip earlier this year that was funded totally by myself. I travel extensively around China and I show you China. Now, some people might say that I don't show negative things. No, I don't. And China's not perfect. There are negative things here in China, but I want to concentrate my content on positive things. So that's what I do. But I think we've come to a turning point now. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that TikTok was offline, but a couple of interesting things have happened. So Xiaohongshu, within about 3 days of having all these Americans register on the site, they actually got a translation working on the site to translate Chinese to English and vice versa. They did that in 3 days, which was pretty amazing. What's even more interesting is ByteDance, the owners of TikTok. Well, the app in China that is TikTok is called Douyin. And up until a few days ago, Douyin was only open to Chinese people to register. You couldn't actually sign up if you were outside China. But they've also opened Douyin up to international users. So now you can register for Douyin from anywhere in the world. And that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Now, as you probably know, Trump will become president tomorrow, and he has already took action to get TikTok back online, and that's what's happened. However, he's saying that this could only be for a temporary period while something is worked out. And his vision is that TikTok will be half owned by an American company. Now, the court case says that ByteDance must sell TikTok completely. Now, if you currently look at TikTok, it's registered in Singapore. All its data is in the US on Oracle servers. And interestingly, a lot of hedge funds in the US are major shareholders of TikTok. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens going forward. And we'll watch this space to see what happens. I am not sure if they will strike a deal at all. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, I don't know. Maybe in another 60 days or 90 days, which is the length of time Trump has given to try and sort this out. Maybe it will be taken down again. There's also many people saying that Trump doesn't have the power to overturn the decision. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens anyway in the next few days. If you have any thoughts about it, leave it in the comments. But I think this will be a turning point. I don't think there'll be a huge amount of Americans that will stay on Xiaohongshu. I think there may be more sign up for Douyin if they keep that open, which is the Chinese version of TikTok. But I think there will be some Americans who will stay on Xiaohongshu if they're permitted to. And I think that would be great. I think it's very interesting that a lot of these people are young people who have now realised that what they've been told for so many years about China is not true. And I hope a number of those Americans actually come and visit China and see for themselves. I mean, China is an amazing country. It has a lot to offer. It's not like what Western media portray. I've done a huge amount of video content on my other channel about this. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I'd love to know what you think. But as always, for now, I'll see you in the next one.